everybody. Restaurant owners, soon to be restaurant owners, restaurant professionals. Hello, hello. Welcome to my podcast, In the Weeds, episode number 41. We're going to talk about pre-marketing today, or marketing pre-opening. Marketing pre-opening is what we're going to talk about today. So, thank you for tuning in. This is episode number 41 of In the Weeds. This is where I come on and talk about my restaurant experience, or I have guests. Today it will be me and marketing. I am a marketing maniac. That's what saved my business back in 2009. I became a marketing maniac, and like everything is about marketing. That's the first thing I do every day in my business is market. So marketing is something like staff team training. Team training is something you do, not something you did. And the sooner you start team training, the better off you are, even before you're open. So, for example, you would never really open your restaurant. If you're a brand new restaurant, you would never open your restaurant with not training any of the team and just putting them on the floor and say, let's go. But we do that with marketing. We do that with marketing all the time. And that's the wrong approach. So before you even open, you need to be long marketing. Now this is all prompted. I've been preaching this for years. I've been totally preaching this for years. And the restaurants that I helped to do this prior will have 2 grand openings because they have such a big list that they have to do 2 grand openings. They can't fit everybody in at one time. So literally, you have 2 grand openings where you have the velvet rope outside, you have the lineup outside, you have let's say it's a 5:30 and then a 7:30, right? You have 2 waves, or you do 2 separate nights because there's so many people that come into these open houses, these grand openings. It's insane. And you always hear people saying, well, I want to start off soft. I want to start off soft. I don't want to start slow. I want to start slow. It's nice to say you want to start slow, but your register, your bank account, your investors don't want to start off slow, right? They want to hit the ground running. And I'm sure you do too. And one of the most common mistakes is restaurants open up too early. They're like, I just need to get open. 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 And they realize that once they get open, they're losing even more money because they start off slow. They didn't go into it, full force, and they're paying all this labor, and labor's killing them. Don't have enough revenue to cover that. They're running 50, 60, 70% labor costs, 30% food costs. They have all the regular expenses, and this happens all the time. And the bleeding gets worse. You think you're opening to stop the bleeding, and you're not. You're opening to increase the bleeding. So a lot of restaurateurs just have it wrong right from the get-go. I was just in Miami, and they were doing a build-out on a restaurant, and the building was going up, and all along the construction fence was all these great banners, scan codes. I took pictures of it. I don't know where it is in my phone, but I wanted to use it at some point. And it was about all this stuff about how this restaurant's opening, what it is, this, that. And I was like, these are experienced marketers, not restaurateurs, marketers. They're letting you know far well in advance what's being built there. QR codes to get into the database and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, this is how it should be done with everybody. So the day you sign the lease, believe me, I made this mistake because, well, back then they didn't have a QR code. Back in 2003, you didn't have a smartphone to take a picture, and you didn't have that kind of data and entry points. But I still should have had something in my window to let people know that we're walking by and driving by. But the day you sign the lease, it's the day you put something up in the window. Coming soon. You put a banner up there. You put a QR code. Win free food. Your birthday meals on us. Something that you're going to do for your marketing. Some type of. So when you get people into your database, it's an exchange of value for a value. The value to the restaurant operator, the owner, is you have their information. The value to the guest is, well, I got something for free. I got a reward. That's one of the number one biases why people buy and take action on things, because they get a reward. The reward bias is probably the number one bias why people take action. So it's an exchange of values, food for database entry, right? So give them whatever, right? And from there, you have data, you have an entry point of people coming into your database from what you call four walls marketing, right? You have to put stuff out there. Then you start your Facebook page. You start your Instagram account. Then you start your website. All this happens like within the day, right? Your website goes live. And once you get all that wrapped up, then you can start posting some content, because you need a landing page to land them to. You just can't open up a Facebook page without a landing page on your website. What I mean by landing page is a page that grabs your information, just like that banner did on the window. So win free food, get a free birthday meal, sign up for our program, get discounts, whatever it is. You get to that site, to the web page, .com pops up, and there you have a point of entry into your database. You grab more people. Then from there, you start explaining who you are, what you're doing, all that, just like a regular website. And on your Facebook page, of course, you have links to your website. And I know a lot of restaurants that just don't even have a website. They're still rocking on a Facebook page. And eyes are going to Facebook, but it's hard to get people to sign up and do actions and send email. It's you need it all. You need it all. Facebook page isn't good enough. So then you put on your Facebook page, you start building out, what you want to start doing. You start describing who you are. You start doing some Facebook lives from the construction site. Coming soon. This is the stage we're at today. We're putting the walk-ins in today. We're buying furniture today, or redoing the floors today, or we just gutted the building. So people can see the progression and get excited about what you're doing. You document the journey. If it's a 6-month journey of renovations, you document that 6-month journey of renovations. Hey, Marcus here, 7:30 a.m. I'm right. I got here before the crew today. Here's what got finished yesterday. Here's what our plans are today. The crew will be in a few minutes, and and they'll be here. Whatever. You document the journey of what's happening. Of course, you want to also talk about the food that you're going to be doing, because you want to hype people up and let people know what's going on. But of course, you're not cooking yet, so you don't have pictures of the food, and you don't have that kind of stuff yet. But there's still content on food that you can be posting. There's still menu ideas you can post. There's still things that you can do. There's still ingredients you can post. There's still, you can say, you can go to the grocery store and take a picture of asparagus and post that and say, we love asparagus, and we plan on offering a grilled asparagus appetizer dish on our menu. If you love grilled asparagus, double tap this photo, right? So you can start doing things like that and getting people engaged. And then you can start placing ads, awareness ads on Facebook, where you're reaching a lot of people. So your Facebook ads are not working in most cases because you don't know how to run a Facebook ad. Facebook ads work so effectively. And that's why Zuckerberg's a billionaire over and over, because of the way Facebook's algorithm works and their ad spend, and why people like it, because it works. People keep doing it because it works, right? So once you know how to work it, you'll have tremendous luck with Facebook ads. But there's different types of ads: lead generation versus awareness. Awareness is just a very broad, goes to more people. Lead generation goes to a little specificer audience, smaller audience. You're supposed to land clients that way. So there's all different types of how you want to place an ad, and what kind of reach you want to get. You're probably just in the awareness stage right now. We're just people just need to start seeing repetition of you. So more views, cheaper ads, right? It's awareness. People just want to just start seeing who you are, what you're doing, what's going on, build the hype up. Because you couldn't get them in there next week for a wine thing you're doing because you're not open. So see the difference between a lead generation ad and an awareness ad. So if you don't know this stuff, you either need to hit YouTube how-tos on Facebook advertising, or you need to hire somebody, whether it's an agency, somebody in-house, a virtual assistant, whatever it is, that knows all of this stuff to really propel you to the next level. Your goal when you open your restaurant is to have 1,000 or thousands of people in your database. This is a brand new, fresh list. You need to be in. So once you collect their database, so once you start collecting somebody 6 months ahead of time to opening, let's say the first person that signs up into your database 6 months prior to opening, you need to nurture them along the way. An email every 2 weeks, an email once a month, every 3 weeks. The averages, industry statistics are that people love to hear from their favorite restaurant every 21 days. So do not wait more than 21 days to start nurturing your clients, right? Just what's going on, your updates, maybe a little bit about you. Hey, this is Joe. I'm the new, I just bought this space. We'll be opening, December 2028, whatever it is. I have a family. Here are my kids. This is my hobbies. This is the kind of food I like. This is where I've worked. This is my professional career of where I've worked. I've worked here, here, and here. These are the celebrities I've cooked for. Look, this picture of me with, whoever it is. So let them understanding who you are, what you're about. Hey, I just moved here. I moved here from Arkansas, or I'm a lifelong resident here. I have my roots here. This is why we're here. Just start letting them get to know who you are, so they start liking you. So they're on top of your mind. And then when it's time for your grand opening, you've got all these people in this database. And all that, and that's that free food you're gonna get, right? Grand opening. You just do an open house, put some food out, let people do some tours. Get the bar open. You do a great grand opening, and you can literally have 2 to 3 grand openings if you play your cards right and build this database. Now, you can choose to start out slow, right? If I hear a lot of restaurateurs say, "Oh, I just want to start out slow. I just want to start out slow. I just want to start out slow." So, all right. So if you have 80 seats in your restaurant and you want to start out slow, only take 30 reservations their first night. Make it your choice to start slow, right? It should be your choice to start slow, not by chance. And by chance is you didn't plan and there are not enough people to come into your restaurant. That's not your choice. You want to be able to say, you know what? We want to start off slow tonight. We're going to take 30 people. Tomorrow night we'll take 40. The next night we'll take 50. The next night we'll take 60. And within 2 weeks, we'll be at full capacity. And we'll be taking, 2 seatings of 80 people because we've worked out the kinks in the 2 weeks or the month or whatever it is. But let that be your choice. Don't let that be the marketplace's choice. Don't let them be going to other restaurants and this and that. Let that be your choice. And if you're not pre-marketing, it's not your choice. They don't know about you enough. They don't trust you enough. Here's what happens. Here's what happens in a restaurant. When you first open, you have your best month, most likely, for several months is your first month because everybody comes to try you. Everybody comes to try you. Like when I was in Colorado, we opened the restaurant out there, Walter's Bistro. Our first month, we did $101,000 or $110,000. This was 1998. Did $101,000 our first month. We broke $100,000. We're like, yeah, this is awesome. We're like in a $1.2 million restaurant right off the bat. 4 months later, we're doing $60,000, $70,000. We're like, man, we got totally thrown off because you figure at $100,000, you have a certain amount of payroll you can afford, a certain amount of people in the kitchen and this and that. And all of a sudden that same payroll doing $70,000 is devastating financially devastating. But we didn't have people in a database back then. We didn't know that. It wasn't, you could do emails back then. Your email open rates back in 1998 were like 95%, right? Because nobody was doing email marketing. So we could have done it, but we just weren't smart enough to do it. And at a certain point, I started collecting the emails. Back then, 1999, I started collecting emails. When we opened in 2003, we started collecting emails. We just didn't know how to really properly work them. And I remember in 1998, people would call for a reservation in 1999, and I would actually, Walter, my partner there, he was old school, very old school, and like you could just see like his desk, like his stack of bills were unpaid, paid. Like he didn't file them in specific vendors and this and that, and like he had to go back, like so and so, like, oh, Walter was like, I paid that bill. I'm like, well, can you look it up? And you're like, Old Heidelberg Bakery, and you'll have a stack of invoices and looking for all the old Heidelberg invoices and that, and in the kitchen, I got like Chef Tech going on, the latest version of Chef Tech, and I got everything wired down in the kitchen of what's going on. And I'm like, I got the invoice here. It's here, this, and this. And I don't know if you paid it though, Walter. I got the invoice here, so I found it. So I would call in on Saturday and Sunday mornings when we were open, like by noon, 1 o'clock, to check the machine, for messages for reservations, and I was the one who called them back. Being the chef in the kitchen, I was the one who called them back because they knew how important it was for people to hear back from you. So, but there was none of the social media, there were none of the photo cameras. In fact, when we first opened in 2003, I remember guests of ours, I didn't know who they were at the time, but they're sitting there with a camera, like a real camera, sitting there taking pictures of the food. And wait staff comes in the kitchen. There's a food reporter out there. There's a food reporter. I'm like, what do you mean? They're taking pictures of the food, you know? And it turns out they were just a normal couple that, you know, liked good food, and, you know, and emails were getting more popular back then. So, you know, the next day they email us a picture of the food they liked. Thank you for a great meal. We loved it, you know, this and this. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And we ended up, you know, knowing these people now. 19 years later, they still come into the restaurant. I just saw them the other day. So, but back to the grand openings, let that be your choice if you're busy or not. That shouldn't be the marketplace's choice. And you know, I understand you want to start slow, and that's fine, but let that be your choice again. All right. So build a database, get people on your Facebook page, get the likes up, get the interactions up, do Facebook Lives, on the construction, do Facebook Lives on everything you're doing, document the whole journey, build that database, and you'll be very, very successful opening up. Every time I've ever done that with a client, they have been like, this is amazing, Marcus. This is amazing. This is awesome. Don't let your first month be your best month. And it took us a while at Walters Bistro to actually get back to where we were. It took like almost a full year, just over a year, where we're like, oh my gosh, we got some breathing room now. We've actually built the business back. And these are all lost opportunities. And when people come in for your grand opening, they should be, again, exchanging. If you're giving away anything, or even just, you know, charging, people should be able to, you know, have the red carpet experience, take a picture behind the backdrop, all that kind of stuff to brand everything. And with but that's a whole nother topic about marketing. But the point of this episode, episode number 41, is to really ramp up your marketing as soon as you sign the lease. As soon as you know what's going on, ramp up your marketing. If you're a chef and you know, well, I'm going to do this next year, I'm going to sign a lease next year, I'm going to leave my job next year, I'm a chef, start building your personal brand on social media, because your personal brand is going to be your restaurant. That's what people are going to ultimately be buying, is your personal brand. You'll have more clout with a personal brand. So you can start doing this a year, 2 years ahead of time. If you know that you're a chef that's destined for your own restaurant, start building your brand, documenting everything, taking pictures of your food, let people know who you are in your area where you're going to be opening that restaurant. You want to open that restaurant. So don't think it's ever too early to start. All right. Marketing is something you do constantly. You do it as soon as you can, and you never give up. And when you first get up in the morning, when you get into your office, when you get into the building, the first thing you do is market. You spend a certain amount of time in the morning to market. You go over your social media, you answer social media posts, you interact with social media, you do some kind of, you know, post, maybe an email campaign, whatever it is, you start the marketing process. And to the starting market process, you have to think of yourself as a content agency. Like, you're here to create content of what's going on in the restaurant. And that's how you market. People want to see content. They want to see real things, right? Whether you're posting somebody's birthday they celebrated at your restaurant last night, to, you know, the local food you just got in, or, you know, whatever's happening, you just keep posting away and market your restaurant like crazy. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. You can go to restaurantgrowthsecretsuniversity.com for a lot of great tips on how to run a restaurant. And I love to say, love your restaurant. Love your restaurant. Restaurants are an amazing business. If you have control of it, if you have everything, organized and control, the restaurant industry can be an amazing business. I love it. I love what this restaurant has provided for myself, my family. I always didn't do that. At the very beginning, I was struggling a lot financially for the first 5 years, and most normal people would have been called it quits. Looking at the financials, be like, how much more money can you put on credit cards and go in debt? You know, we robbed our daughter at 8 years old of her bank account. Just went in one winter, and we're like, we need this money to pay bills, and, you know, and we'll pay it back at some point, right? We'll pay it back at some point, right? That's what you thought. Of course we did, but, you know, when you're doing things out of fear like that, it sucks. It totally sucks. So go to restaurantgrowthsecretsuniversity.com. Lots and lots of great free content over there. Lots of great free content. All right, folks, have an amazing day. Go love your restaurant and drop a rating on this podcast. Even if you don't need this podcast, other people do need it. And if you rate it wherever you're listening to it at, it helps other people see this. Of course, share it out as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it.